So good morning everyone, good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Desirous and you're all welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new and narcissism resonates with you, I encourage you to join us, like the page, share with your friends, subscribe. And for those that have always been with me, you are welcome back and I thank you for your love and support. Now you guys may notice a little bit of a difference in my voice. I've been having a cold for 2 days. I caught a cold recently. So I'm trying to heal from the cold. It's getting better eventually. That was today is Monday, so that was on Friday. I got a cold on Friday, but I'm feeling a little bit better now. And on the other hand, you guys have noticed also that I've not been usually coming out to do videos on camera. So it's because recently I'm doing a little bit of upgrades. I'm making some upgrades on my channel. So sometimes you guys are going to see videos that are in graphic form. So you might see some videos which are in graphic format. But even sometimes as well, I may just come out and do a video like I've always done. It's just because I'm doing a few upgrades here and there. And whatever it is I can do to be of service, it depends on my intuition. When I get up in the morning, the video I have in mind, it may require me to do a graphic format, or it may require me to just come out and just do it on camera, or even sometimes do a live feed. But whichever way it is, I'm still of service and I'm still here. Everything is okay. Apart from the cold, everything is okay. I'm doing well. And on the other hand as well, the next announcement is still the guys out there that I've always told you, you can always come out and speak. Speaking is your right. It's your birthright. You can always come out and speak. Do not sit on abuse. Do not sit with the truth. Come out and speak. I've got the platform, the Empath Speak Out project. You can always come out, share your story with the world. I will use my platform to share your story. And at the end of the day, we make the world a better place because there's so many people out there who are dying for this kind of information. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the lessons that I've learned along my journey after narcissistic abuse. Now, this is going to be from my own perspective, but as well, it's not going to make any difference to other people's stories because we have all been in the same situation, and narcissists, they are almost the same thing. It's like what you experienced there. It is the same thing what somebody else has been going through. So it is mostly going to base on my own personal journey and what I've really learned and my lessons that I've picked up from this whole thing after the narcissistic abusive experience. One thing I've known, the number one, which brings us to number one, is that narcissism is some sort of an epidemic. That is the very first one. Narcissism is an epidemic, but as much as it's an epidemic, it is something what is less talked about. So eventually you will find that actually most of the people don't know about it. Most of the people don't talk about it. Even the people who know about it don't talk about it. And the ones even who talk about it, and even some of the ones who talk about it, they don't want to exactly say what is going on. You know what I mean? So it's like they are covering up most of the things, and they don't tell the world and the people exactly what they need to know. So you will never find this kind of information going out there in churches. Most of you who are going to churches, well, I'm not going to churches recently, but the ones of you who are involved in churches, whatever, you will never find your religious leaders talking about narcissism. You will never find your teachers talking about narcissism. Sometimes even your parents, your schools, whatever, nobody's talking about it. So basically, this is a very, very serious epidemic. There's people who have lost their lives. There's people who have gone crazy. There's people who have ended up in psychiatric hospitals. There's people who have gotten very, very serious situations, the life-threatening situations. And at the end of the day, nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's talking, which is very, very dangerous because an epidemic has got to be talked about. It has got to be addressed. The children have got to know. Our children have got to know what exactly is going on. The schools have got to address this thing. Let them come out, speak about narcissism. Let them tell exactly the people what they need to know so that the people now can protect themselves and make very, very important decisions as they get along with relationships, or even sometimes protect themselves if they're involved with family members, or sometimes if they're born into families which have families which include narcissists. That was the first thing, is an epidemic which is less talked about, and that is a very dangerous thing, and I think that has got to change. Number two, I've learned along my journey that not everybody is a good person. to go into the details of this, along my journey, I've discovered that I've been an empath all my life. I've never really known that I was an empath. I just woke up to the fact that I was an empath after my awakening. That's when I discovered that there was an empath. And then I looked back and I figured out so many things. And I was thinking, okay, so all my life, it's like I've usually been of service, even sometimes that I've not been knowing. I've done it subconsciously without knowing it. But I've always been of service. I've always been out there to help people. I've always wished the best for people. I've never really pointed fingers at anyone. I've never really been involved in fights and everything, all these kind of violent situations or whatever. So I've always been of service. And I've now understood that actually it's not everybody's an empath, because the mistake I did earlier in my journey, I used to think that everyone is a good person. I used to think everybody is okay. People are thinking the same way I do. People want to do the same things I do. But later on, I've learned, specifically after my awakening, I've learned that there are some people who are just out there to destroy people. So some people, they don't care how you feel. They don't care what's going on in your life. They just want to come in and take whatever it is you have for yourself and destroy your life as well. So I finally understand that actually it's not everybody is a good person. So that was the second one. Not everybody is a good person, and we always have to make sure that we watch out for the people we're dealing with, especially you, the empaths on this channel. You've always got to watch out your moves. You've always got to look around you, see the people you're getting involved with. You've got to take extra care when you're dealing with people, because not everybody actually wishes you well. So most of the people will just come into your life with an intention to actually destroy you, for that matter. The third thing I've learned along my journey as well is there's a lot of unaware, I don't know if I can call them unaware narcissists. I know they're the ones there are some of those who are greater ones. They know, they are aware of their own situation, but they're the ones who are the lesser ones, the lesser narcissists. And again, the lesser narcissist does not matter. The lesser narcissist can be an old guy, can be a mature person. The lesser narcissist can be what do they call it, a teenager. As long as somebody is not aware of their narcissism, they are called lesser narcissists because they are not aware. So my awakening has also brought me to the fact that actually most of the people I've been involved with, they are actually lesser narcissists, just because they didn't know about this whole thing, what was going on. Maybe the reason why they are doing those kind of things, and the reason why most of their lives have been stuck in some kind of a way. So most of the people are actually lesser narcissists, and they are really not aware of what is going on. So a lot of narcissists out there, and the lesser ones are many actually. The lesser ones are so many of them actually. The greater ones, or even the ultra ones, there are very few of them who have actually understood that they're narcissists. There are very, very few of them, but the lesser ones, they're actually the majority. And that's why most of the times we are getting into these situations and we are dealing with those people who are not even aware actually that they're narcissists. So at the end of the day, they end up destroying other people without even knowing that they're destroying people. I've personally met a lot of lesser narcissists who don't know what is going on with what's going on with them. And again, most of you, you have always met the narcissists who are actually lesser narcissists who don't know exactly what is happening to them. So I've come along my journey, I've learned that a lot of people have gotten into these kind of situations with lesser narcissists. The few who have made the greater ones, I've also met the greater one, like I've always mentioned in the recent videos. I've met the greater one who is aware of their own situation. It's just because that I picked up the flags very quickly and I found my way out of there. But on the other hand, the majority of the individuals who are involved with narcissists, they are involved with those guys who are the lesser ones. So most of the times you're going to find that actually along your journey, when you awaken, you're also going to start to awaken them as well, because they're also going to find out that actually they have been the problem as well. So you're going to find that actually along your journey of self-discovery, of awakening, you're also going to find out that actually you are also awakening other narcissists, because at the end of the day you're going to start talking about things and they're going to pick up on those things and they're going to find out that actually they've also been always part of the problem. So that was the third one. The fourth one I've learned along my journey is that it is always very important to protect yourself. You know, it is always very important to protect yourself. Life can never be taken for granted. So after narcissistic abuse, I realized that actually I had always done less to protect myself. Maybe it was part of the reason because I thought that people were always good. You know, the way I was thinking is the same way people are thinking. So I always thought that actually we're in the same boat. But later on, I realized that actually I had been less protective of myself and my own energy. You know what I mean? So it's like I used to be like that kind of guy who brings in people. You know what I mean? I just I just want to do the best for people. So I would even sometimes let in the bad ones, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you find yourself getting hurt by people who even sometimes don't intend to hurt you, but just because it's just the way they are wired. They are wired in that kind of a way that they're very destructive. So when they get into your energy, end of the day, they're going to end up destroying you. Sometimes they may do it consciously, sometimes they may do it subconsciously. So it has always been a lesson for me to understand that it's very, very important for an empath, especially the empaths on this page, on this channel. It's very important for you to understand that it's your obligation. Very, very important for you to always try to protect yourself. You know what I mean? Don't, excuse me, guys. I think there's someone passing by. It is very important for you to understand that you can always protect yourself. It is there is nothing wrong with protecting your energy, because at the end of the day, as an empath, you're going to find out that if you just keep on allowing people in your life, into your aura, into your energy field, most of those individuals, they don't wish you well. They are going to destroy you. They are going to sap up your energy, and at the end of the day, they are not going to leave you the same. You guys have seen it along the journey. For the most of you have been with the narcissists, you have understood that actually you have always been allowing in people who are very, very toxic individuals, and they have drained you of everything, including your own personal energy. The fifth thing I can talk about is most of the empaths who have been involved with narcissists, they have also been black sheeps in most of their families. So most of the empaths, one thing that has been my personal experience, but I'm very sure that most of the empaths, you can resonate with this. So most of the empaths who have been involved with narcissists, they also have most of them have been brought up by narcissists themselves. Most of them have been brought up in very, very dysfunctional families. So you can find that actually some of their families, their parents have been narcissists. Sometimes they could have been the lesser ones, not that they know that they're narcissists, but maybe they have been narcissists all along. It's just because they were not aware. So most of the empaths, I've learned along my journey that most of the empaths who have been involved with narcissists, who have even sometimes awakened from narcissistic abuse, they have also come from very dysfunctional families, and life hasn't been a walk in the park. So most of the times, life has been very hard for the empaths. For the most of those empaths, the black sheeps, life has been very hard because sometimes it is like the empath has always been hidden from themselves. I don't know if I can explain more. What I mean is the empath has always been hidden from their true authentic self. What I mean by this is that they have grown up in narcissistic families. So sometimes you can find that their parents, maybe their fathers, their mothers, they were very much always afraid and irritated by their light. So maybe they saw that those guys, the empaths, I'm talking about the empaths, they have always been different from other family members. So they've always done things differently. They have always thought differently. They were the truth tellers. So most of the cases I've learned actually along the journey that the empaths have usually been raised in very, very bad dysfunctional families. And I think for the most of the reason, if I can go to the spiritual aspect of this whole thing, there's a very big reason why the empath has been born in that family, because most of the times, we are the people who are supposed to actually help other members, especially family members. We are supposed to awaken them. We will awaken definitely. I've always told you guys in my videos, the black sheep in the family, the empaths, we shall always be the first ones to awaken. And the very moment you awaken, you're going to trigger a very, very massive awakening in whatever family it is you come from. So sometimes you're going to find this yourself triggering your parents. You're going to trigger your parents. You might actually have to face the reality. They might have to face the truth of who they are. If they've been narcissists, they will have to face the truth of who they are. Even sometimes if you have got narcissistic family members, they will also awaken to the fact that actually they've always been narcissists. Whether they want to seek help or not, that is going to depend on their own personal decision. And last but not least, another thing I've also experienced, the lesson I've learned along my journey after dealing with a narcissist. I've understood that narcissism can kill you. You know what I mean? A person can actually die from after narcissistic abuse, because this abuse is very, very intensive. For the most of you who don't know the depth of narcissism, like I've always been talking about this narcissism on spiritual level in my videos, is a person can actually die. A person can actually pass. I've heard about so many cases. The clients I've been talking with, sometimes they have mentioned actually people who have even passed on after narcissistic abuse. So this thing is very intensive, and it cannot be taken for granted. You know what I mean? So most of my videos I've talked about something like, you guys, if you have discovered, if you have identified, if you have finally found out that actually you have been dealing with a narcissist, it is very important, guys. Don't look for the details. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Don't try to find out again what is next, what is this. Yes, okay, come on these lines, come on these platforms. We have a lot of information, but don't go very deep in the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? As long as you've discovered you've been dealing with a narcissist, guys, that is enough. you are supposed to exit that partnership. I don't know if it is a family. It's going to be very painful, guys. I've always mentioned it. It's very painful whether you're exiting a relationship, whether you're exiting a family unit, whether you're exiting a work situation, whatever it is. If you have been dealing with a narcissist, guys, it is very important for you to exit that situationship ASAP. So when you know that and you've found out that you've been dealing with this kind of individuals, guys, you have to know this thing is very, very dangerous, very extremely dangerous. I cannot have the proper words to say this. Yesterday, I had a chance to walk around. I went out a little bit, and in one of the places I went, I noticed that actually that place, it brought back the memories, because I remember when I just been discarded, I was struggling with this trauma bond. I was really struggling with the trauma bond, and I revisited that place, and a lot of things. Actually, I'm going to do a video about that special incident, how the narcissist almost took my life. In that particular place, I remember that there was a point whereby I would think that actually I was even going, my life was going to end at that moment. I thought about something like that, because it is what it looked like, you know what I mean? I found myself getting on a bus. I got on a train. I just all of a sudden got on a train after that, and I just went to an unknown destination. You know what I mean? I just took off to an unknown destination, and I think somehow the universe wanted to show me exactly in that particular time, wanted to bring me back to get a little bit of memories of that particular event, because I remember that event happened specifically immediately after the discard, and the universe took me back to that place to revisit that place exactly and remember, bring back the memories of what exactly happened there. Try to recall the events of what was going on there. That place, I just took a train. I just went off to an unknown destination. I got off the train. I walked up to the street. I didn't know where I was going. I was just walking. I did not know how I got there. I did not know how. I didn't even know what brought me to that place in the first place. But I just found myself jumping on a train and going out to an unknown destination. And in that destination, I remember sitting down somewhere. It's like I would feel like my life had come to the end. It's like all the life had been sucked out of me. You know what I mean? And then I found myself again just jumping on the bus. The bus again took me to an unknown destination. So I found myself traveling like miles away from home. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. And even sometimes I thought that I'd even lost myself on the way, because I did not know exactly what I was doing with myself. So when I'm talking about narcissism, guys, you have got to understand, for the most of us who have been there, for the most of us who are coming out and helping you, you have got to take us seriously. You have got to understand what we're talking about. It's very, very serious and it's very deep. So when we're talking about, when you hear me telling you guys, you have got to exit, you have got to leave, you are supposed to start time packing your bags as soon as you can, guys. You cannot risk your life. You cannot risk any more minutes, any more weeks, any more months with the narcissist, guys. Start planning your exit and leave that partnership as soon as you can, if you still have the chance to do that. So do not take it lightly. It's very serious. It can even actually take your life. I've learned along my journey that if you hang on too much, if you hang on too long enough in narcissistic abuse, narcissism can actually kill you. It can take your life. It has happened. So many people have committed suicide. You've heard about people jumping, throwing themselves in a moving train, along the path of a moving train. You found some people actually drowning themselves. You've heard about people falling off a bridge or something. Most of those individuals, guys, they are going through very, very serious situations with narcissists, and sometimes it can even bring you to that extent whereby you can even take your life, because, like I've always said, the narcissist has got to come to your life. There are three things they are coming in to do. They will either kill you. If they don't do that, they will destroy you, or even sometimes they will steal from you. It's three things: they will kill, they will steal, they will destroy. There is nothing ever good going to come out of that relationship. If you have known it, if you have seen it, if you have identified it, start packing your bags, guys. Leave that entanglement, whatever it is, as soon as you can. So, guys, that being said, I don't want to make this video long. If there is some lessons I've not mentioned in this video, for the most of you, like I've said, this from my own personal experience. If there's some other things you've experienced along your journey, your healing journey after narcissistic abuse, I would like to know in the comment section below. You can share with us what has been your experience. Other than that, guys, it's been a lovely day to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. There's more signing out, and I'll catch you soon.